From the beautiful Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, this is the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. We take questions from anyone in the dental profession and discuss what it takes to win not only in dentistry, but in life. Business, leadership, relationships, parenting, health and wellness, money management, nothing is off limits on the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. I'm Jason Tenori, your host, and have over 20 years of experience to pull from. Learn from my mistakes and let me help you collapse time so you can become the best version of yourself. Yo, what is up? Dr. Jason here, Dental Lighthouse Podcast. And it's Thursday morning. What is today? It's the 18th, September 18th. And I got some things to share. And I'll probably share them over a few podcasts as they're not 100% related. I want to first start with a hospital visit that I had. So as some of you guys know, about 3 weeks ago, I was doing something stupid in the gym, and it wasn't even heavy weight, but I wasn't focused and I wasn't tight with my core and stuff. And long story short, I did something to my hamstring, my left hamstring. So I went to this chiropractor that I see that doesn't really do chiropractic medicine as much as he does electrostim. Usually he helps me out a bit, and he did help it. But let's say when it first happened, it was a pain 9 out of 10. I had trouble sleeping. I had to like sleep with my legs elevated. And I was on ibuprofen and Tylenol around the clock. So long story short, I hooked up with an orthopedic surgeon who is a friend of mine. I coach his son on our travel baseball team, and he looked at it and he was like, "You got to get an MRI." I'm like, "Oh, great." So I scheduled the MRI, and this was this past Monday. And I don't know if you guys have taken any MRI or had an MRI taken, but it's a pain in the ass, right? So we're all busy. I'm being told that I'll be in this tube MRI chamber for like an hour. So I make the appointment. I get there. It was in a hospital. People were nice. I was seen on time. I get in there. They're very cordial. I'm trying to be cordial. They hook me up to the MRI, and I'm in the tube for an hour. Right? If you guys that have had MRIs taken, it's so loud and so noisy. In the back of my mind, I'm like, this is where we're at with healthcare technology, that we can't have these things taken and not sound like it's out of 1985. Anyways, I have the MRI taken. Like I said, it's about an hour, and then I leave, and I have an appointment coming up on Friday to have the orthopedic surgeon look at the MRI and give me an understanding of, is it a partial tear? Is it a full tear? Is it a pinched nerve? Well, I get a phone call from the hospital on Tuesday, and and I didn't answer it. I was busy with a coaching client. The message says, "We didn't capture everything that we needed to on the MRI, so you need to come back." And I'm like, ugh. And it just kind of brought me back to a lot of the situations in our dental offices that we probably run into. Now, I know you guys are probably better than me, but when I was very busy clinically, there would be situations where I would have an assistant take a CBCT or even a panoramic film. And I was so busy either with hygiene checks or running behind that I didn't check the image. And by the end of the day or the next day, when I finally got to checking the image, the air kind of gets drawn from you, and you're just like, because you realize that the most vital piece of information, the piece of information that you needed to really see on this image wasn't there. It was either completely missed, or the patient moved and it was blurry. It was non-diagnostic, and it sucks. It really, really sucks for multiple reasons, right? First, it sucks because we're really busy, and assuming you're doing things right, you probably don't have a lot of available chair time. So now we have to figure out a way to get this person back in. But more importantly, it sucks because it just screams incompetence. And obviously no one's trying to intentionally be incompetent, but when we have to call that patient back and tell them we need to retake the x-ray, or in other situations, it could be an impression, right? We take a final impression for something or a final scan for something. We get so busy that we don't have a chance to do a final review of it. It goes to the lab, and then the lab gives us the proverbial call of, I can't work with this, or this is not good enough, or we need another impression. Again, it's one of the lowest lows, in my opinion, one of the lowest lows that we have, because again, it suggests that we don't have our systems dialed in, and it screams incompetence, because the patient, no matter how much they love you, they start to doubt at even the smallest level your level of competence. So let's go back to the hospital story. So I get a phone call on Tuesday, and very apologetic, very much like, Jason, we're so sorry. We showed this to the doctor and it needs to be a little bit more distal, whatever it was. Um, okay. If people make mistakes, I get it. So what they did do that I think was impressive, and we'll correlate this back to our fictitious dental situation, is they basically said to me, what's your schedule? We will work around your schedule. We will make it happen. We will get you in. So I had an opportunity the following day over lunch, and they're like, fine, we'll work through lunch. We'll get it taken care of. And I was like, okay, this still sucks, but I could tell that they care. I could tell that they know that this is inconveniencing me, and they want to make it right. So my appointment for the MRI, the second MRI, is at 11:45. And she was clear about, we're going to sneak you in. It'll only take 15 minutes. So that was the other thing. We don't have to do the whole MRI again. It'll only take 15 minutes. And I'm like, cool. So in my mind as a patient, and I know your patients are thinking this too, when you say to someone, it's only going to take 15 minutes and my appointment's at 11:45, in my mind, I'm back in my car by noon, right? Probably not true, probably unrealistic expectations, but that's how our patients think. And that's how I thought, right? So I get there at 11:45. And another great thing that was going on that I was appreciative of is, when I checked in, never met this person before. When I checked in, I gave him my name, and I said, I have an 11:45 appointment for an MRI. And must have been in the practice management software notes, but she's like, oh, again, we are so sorry that we have to do this. We know you're busy. And again, I've never seen this person before. So it was communicated in the note that this was a makeup, for lack of a better term. And the fact that I've never met this person and they were trying to be empathetic to my needs and concerns, I was appreciative of that. So I was like, okay, point for them. So I get back to the room. By this time, it's like 11:50. I take my clothes off, put the gown on. As you guys know, left my boxers on. Get your head out of the gutter. And I sat in that changing room from 11:50 to 12:40. And I'm getting pissed. And we've talked about this before, either on the podcast or at the Servant Leadership course. And there's been some psychology research done on this. When a customer or a patient or a client has a specific time in their mind that I'm going to be seen at this time, and it goes beyond that, it's the anxiety of the unknown that really causes the anger, right? So I've coached up a lot of docs where if they're running behind, like, stop what you're doing, go out to the waiting room yourself or your assistant. I used to like to go out to the waiting room, and I would look the patient directly in the face and I would say, I am so sorry that I'm running behind. I know your appointment was at 1 o'clock and it is now 1:05. This is 100% on me. I know your time is valuable. I need you to know that I'm going to be another 15 minutes with the patient that I currently have in the chair. And I assure you that I will have you back and ready to go in 20 minutes. When we do that, are we still running behind? Yes. But this wave of tension leaves not only the patient, but it also leaves the provider because we've had a conversation, we've remanaged expectations. And now I know that the patient's not stewing in their mind about when am I going to be seen? When am I going to be seen? When am I going to be seen? We're 5 minutes after my appointment. We're 10 minutes after my appointment. So I would strongly encourage you to do that. And I constantly coach my own doctors and hygienists to do that. The hospital did not do that. So again, I was supposed to be seen at 11:45. It is now 12:40, and I'm to the point now where I am hot. And then I'm like, have they forgotten about me? Because I'm in this closed changing room. So literally at 12, and I'm having this conversation with myself in my head, and I say to myself, if it gets to 12:45 and no one's coming back, no one's come back to get me yet, I'm out. I'm going to rechange into my clothes and I'm leaving. And which is kind of stupid on my part because like I need to get my hamstring fixed. But I was almost like, I'm going to send a message. I'm going to get in my clothes. I'm going to walk out of this changing room and I'm going to be like, you know what? It's been an hour. I can't do this. We're going to have to do it another time. So at like 12:42, they came and got me. And again, very apologetic. At this point, I'm just keeping quiet. I'm just like nodding. I'm not being an asshole, but I'm not painting a picture with roses and unicorns either. I get into the MRI thing. It's 15, 20 minutes. So they were true about that. And then during the entire experience in the headphones I'm wearing, they're apologetic. And then the MRI got done. And then as I'm leaving, going back to my changing room, one of the MRI techs says, again, Jason, we are so sorry about this, and gives me a $10 gas card, which again, they didn't have to do that. So I think they got that part right. So how can we relate this to our daily lives as busy dentists, hygienists, assistants? Excuse me while I take a sip of coffee. There's a lot we can learn from there. The first thing, in my opinion, that we can learn is do everything possible to minimize the chance that you're going to have to bring a patient back. We talk all the time about the value of same day dentistry. Same day dentistry can be extremely profitable if you have the capacity to do it, but it's also a huge win for the patient. Because especially busy patients, maybe if it's someone elderly that has nothing else to do besides play bridge, but most of our patients are busy. They got kids, they're running around, they got work. Anytime that we can save the patient an appointment and not have to bring them back is a huge win. So in this situation, creating systems that either force the doctor or a doctor, if it's a multi-doctor practice, to look at an x-ray before the patient leaves and basically give it their sign of approval, to look at an alginate impression or a polyvinyl impression or a 3D scan, or not 3D scan, a intraoral scan, and give it their blessing, give it their sign of approval. Yes, that's good. You can send her home. If you have a situation where it's hard for you to do that, maybe you're constantly in surgery and just to interrupt you and pull you out is tough, then you have to train someone up on your team to do that. You have to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to speak for the doctor here, and this x-ray is good to go. This scan is good to go. If you don't have anyone like that, then I would ask the patient to wait in the waiting room until someone has an opportunity to do that. Now, obviously, you don't want to make them wait all day, but it's not good when you dismiss the patient, assuming everything's good, and then they get a call the next day saying that something's not accurate. So that's the first thing that I think we can learn from this situation. The second thing, and the thing that the hospital did well. I got a D in English. Actually, kind of funny story. I ended up getting a 1200 on my SATs, 800 in math, 400 in verbal, but I digress. The next thing that happened that I think the hospital did well was work around my schedule. I've been in situations where I had to go back to a doctor's appointment or go back to something because it wasn't completed or what. And they pushed me out like a month or 2 months. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to get this done. And this is your fault. And you're pushing me out 2 months with no concern about how I'm feeling. So the hospital was really, really great in the sense of what works for you, Jason. We will get you in, right? I think we could take that lesson from the hospital and make sure that we apply it to our practices. So, is it an inconvenience? 100%. But I would call that patient back in our dental offices and I would do everything possible to make sure I'm working around their schedule to fix the situation. Now, maybe that means you're going to have to work over lunch. It is what it is. Maybe that means you're going to have to come in on a day off. It is what it is. Maybe it means you're going to have to stay longer at the end of the day or come in earlier. It is what it is. Like, again, I'm not suggesting you have to do this, but if you're really trying to make it right, then this is what I would strongly encourage you to do. So I think the hospital got that right. What's something the hospital got wrong? Well, I think you guys know what I'm going to say here. If you tell me my appointment's at 11:45, you better see me at 11:45, or because I know shit happens, let me know at 11:50, 11:55 that you're running behind and give me a very specific time that you can guarantee that I'm going to be back to where I need to be, the MRI tube, the dental chair, the whatever, right? They didn't do that. So I festered in that changing room for almost an hour, just building up anger and resentment. Now, I actually did a lot of meditation during that time, did some box breathing. So I have some tools that helped me get through times like that. And if you don't have those tools, podcast for another day, but we should talk about developing those. And that helped me out a lot. So when I finally did get seen, I wasn't like over the top heated or anything like that, but just not good to tell somebody that you're going to work them in and they'll be seen at this time and then not follow through with that. So again, taking it back to our dental practices, if you're going to tell somebody a time, even if you're working them in because you made a mistake, then stay true to that time. And if it's not going to work, then don't like schedule them there. Now, we will have situations where we'll tell an emergency or something to come in, and we, even on the phone, we're like, we will get you in sometime this afternoon, right? So I'm managing the expectations before it becomes an objection, right? So, but when you tell me you're going to see me at 11:45, you better see me at 11:45, or let me know in the moment when you are going to be able to see me because things are running behind. And then finally, one of the things I think the hospital did well was give me the gift, right? Now, it was a $10 Sunoco card. I don't even know where Sunoco is. So I'll probably end up giving it to one of my boys, and they have no money. So they'll go to a place, they'll drive an hour to use a $10 Sunoco gas card. I'm not going to do that. But the gesture was very nice. So anytime that we're inconveniencing a patient in our own practices, I do feel that obviously verbally being apologetic, verbally making sure that the patient understands that we understand how inconvenient this is for them. So apologizing, right? But at the same time, I do think a small gift, like in our area, it could be like a Wegmans gift card. Wegmans is a big grocery store here. Everybody goes to Wegmans. It could be an Amazon gift card. It could be a Starbucks gift card. And again, it doesn't have to be a lot, $5, $10, but following Cialdini's principles, I think that is a really nice gesture. So the patient truly understands that you're trying to make this right. So again, just thought it was an interesting situation, things we can learn from. Sometimes it sucks to be a patient like I am right now with my hamstring, but I always love to observe what's going on and somehow relate it back to how we can become better dental business owners, dental business team members, hygienists, doctors, what have you. So hope this was helpful. Again, please, if this content is good, I know the content's good, but if you feel it's good, if you feel it's great, I would ask you to do two things. Share this particular episode with someone that needs to hear it. And then please take a few minutes to leave us a 5-star review. We're getting fairly popular, and my goal is to reach as many in our community that could benefit from this content, could benefit from this material. And the way the algorithms work, the more 5-star reviews we have, the more this show gets in front of people. So that's the 2 ways you can help me. If you feel like my content has been helping you, is share an episode or two with someone on your team that you feel it's relevant with. And leave a 5-star review. I would be super appreciative of it. My contact information is on our website, thedentallighthouse.com. You can reach me via text message and email. If you ever want to get on the show and be interviewed, if you ever have some questions about a pain point that you're having, feel free to message me. We could talk about it either one-on-one, or we could talk about it on the podcast, or I can answer it on the podcast as well. So thanks, guys. Love you. Have a good one. Thank you. That wraps up another episode of the Dental Lighthouse podcast. You have a choice today. Choose to be a lighthouse. Lighthouses are powerful and steadfast. They are beacons of light for others to reference when life gets turbulent. Go out into the world today and become a lighthouse for someone. Give more than you get. True joy comes from serving others. Start today. I'm Jason Tenori, your host. Thank you for listening to the Dental Lighthouse podcast. For more information, podcast show notes, or links to anything that we have discussed today, please check out our website, thedentallighthouse.com. We would love to hear from you. If you would like to get on the show, please email us at podcast@thedentallighthouse.com.